Hey, my name is Aunt P, and I'm new to introversion. So I want to talk to you about what happened to make me introverted, why it is that you are afraid to speak up at bars, clubs, with strangers, or at work with coworkers, or post yourself on social media or in the internet as you are, how you really are. Why? Why are we so afraid to show up as we are? You know, when I was a kid, I started playing piano when I was 4. I started doing piano recitals. That went straight into junior high band. I started rock bands, metal bands in high school. And I was on stage every weekend. I was always on stage in front of people, and it really affected my ego and made me very proud of myself and an inflated sense of self. It took all of that falling apart for me to finally become introverted. I went through a crippling depression and wanted to commit suicide and subsequently had a spiritual awakening on a psychedelic experience. I realized that I was not the
center of the universe.
that I was just one node in a network, and that my opinion was no more valid or important than anyone else's. And in fact, by influencing others with my personality and opinions, I may be leading them astray and away from who they really are. So I became very introverted and introspective and maybe even more self-conscious, you could say, than I was when I really cared about what people thought about me. Some people don't realize the value of speech, and so they overdo it. Some people are introverts and they don't realize the value of their speech, and so they underdo it. The important thing is to always be yourself, but you need to realize that you might be conditioning yourself to not want to talk because you don't think of the value in speaking. What is the value in speaking? If you don't express yourself, if you go through life unexpressed, it continues to repress the side of you that you actually want to be. And the reason it's important to not suppress that is you don't know what you could be until you start to express yourself. So I have this potential in me to be someone I'm not yet. Because in moments throughout the day, I'm choosing to not do things that I know I should do. Does that sound familiar? How often is it that we deny ourselves the should? I should do that. Isn't that interesting? We are at war with ourselves in our minds about who we could and should be. There's a resistance to that. In that resistance, we create anxiety, we create shame, we create guilt. And in order to get rid of those things in your life, you have to actually start to express yourself organically, naturally. Not perfect. No one's perfect. And you have to let go of the idea that you can control every situation. When I go to the, I haven't been in years, but when I used to go out by myself to the bar or the club to meet people, there was a lot of resistance to just putting myself out there. But if I didn't put myself out there and I was constantly clinging to my drink and my cool stance, nobody was coming up to me or talking to me. When I finally let that go, and I would just buy someone a drink and start talking to them, or walk up to a group of people and just say, hey, how's it going? Just start talking. The true me started flowing out. And people would actually start to gravitate towards me. So when I walk away from that group, another group would come up to me and say, hey, I like your shirt, or hey, I like, your tattoo, or hey, what brings you here, or whatever. The magnetism that you create by being yourself and being authentic to yourself attracts the people and the experiences that you want to have. So in order to get what you want out of life, you actually have to put yourself forward and say, this is who I am or who I could be in this moment if you give me the opportunity. And that can be very disappointing when you get no, you're not that, or not right now, or this is not the moment, or we're not the people. Those can be very discouraging, but that's exactly the battle that we all have to face in life. If you just continue to deny yourself before you even give the universe a chance to deny you, you're never going to get the good thing. And there's so many good things out there. For want of asking, we give up so many opportunities and success in life, whether that means more friends, more money, joy, peace, happiness. To be at peace is to truly be yourself at the best capacity you can. And that's always changing. You know, in certain times I'm super critical on myself, and it's because I know I could be doing something different. There's times when I'm at great peace and I have almost no apparent ambition for new things. And that's because I'm where I should be. So listen to yourself. Do you have resistance to who you're being? Is there a conversation in your head throughout the day saying, you could be this way, you could have done that, you could do this? This is you can stretch yourself to be who you should be. A lot of times that's just speaking up when something comes to mind. You know, I didn't prepare this. You might be able to notice, but you're still watching because I'm being authentic. I'm presenting myself to you in a genuine way. So long as you can do that, think about Justin Bieber or Kim Kardashian. So long as they can just be themselves and express themselves, people are going to love them and give them love and make them feel awesome because they are awesome. They're being awesome because they're being themselves, and they're not afraid of that. They're not afraid to show that. Think of all the heroes that you admire, movie stars, actors, sports players, singers, artists. The reason you like them is not because they're like you. The only quality that you really admire is that they are themselves, and you can see that. So there's been times when I've wanted to be funnier, I've wanted to be a rich guy, I've wanted to be a business guy or a music guy or a jiu-jitsu guy, like all these elements of life. First of all, I have to try them. I have to give them a taste to see if that's really me, and then experience them and experiment with them. In order to do that, you have to believe that you can go get something that you currently don't have. When you put that effort out into the universe, the energy, the current of attention and concentration on something, you're giving your energy, your force, in an outward direction instead of an inward direction. You're giving your energy, your force, in an outward direction instead of an inward direction. That's giving. And it always seems like taking. But what is taking? It's actually just consuming. If you want to be a creator, you have to actually output your concentration and your attention. So you can't always be thinking of yourself. That's the paradox of becoming enlightened or becoming spiritually awakened. Is now you have all this capacity for introspection, but the only way to actually experience is to create. To create, you must generate an output. So the very beginning of realizing that something's got to change. You can call that a spiritual awakening, you can call that recovery or whatever. The moment you realize something's got to change, that is your opportunity for enlightenment. And when you experience your enlightenment, flip the switch from in to out. Now you are enlightened. Now you can be the eyes, ears, and mouth of the universe, of God. So express yourself. You are made in the image of God. How could you be wrong? What makes you sinful is guilt and shame and fear. It keeps you from being yourself. The only sin is not being yourself, not being true to yourself. That creates a lie. That lie creates a schism in the universe that separates you from God and from God's will. And then you reinforce that separation with more guilt and shame by repeatedly not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So the sermon is listen to yourself, be true to yourself, and push yourself out of these bad habits of self-consciousness, introversion. These are all selfish qualities. You're inwardly thinking of yourself. This is a good thing to do for like 3 months or 6 months or 18 months, living by yourself, or you have a secluded lifestyle. But then come back into the world and express yourself. Be yourself. Be true to yourself. It's a skill to build. And as you build skill, you become stronger at it. So this might seem like a lot to you. This guy's able to express himself without writing it down, without preparing a script, and he's going to post it right on the internet. This might seem like a lot, but to me, it's not a lot. To me, I should be doing way more than this. Look at the celebrities and stars of our world. They're not limiting how much they put themselves out there. Life is putting yourself out there. So for the introverted, for the shy, for the intimidated, for the uncertain, become certain. that you are, as you are, worthy of putting yourself in new social situations, worthy of putting yourself out there to your family, your friends, your spouse, your kids, whatever it is that's holding you back from being authentic, something in the way of you being and expressing yourself. And only you know what that is. But the good thing is, you already know what it is. Something in the way of you being and expressing yourself. And only you know what that is. But the good thing is, you already know what it is. It might be hiding. You might be afraid to admit it. But you know it. You know what it is. So track that thing down in yourself and make an agreement with yourself that you're going to slowly work your way out of it. You know, be your good friend, be your good brother right now, or your good sister, and tell yourself, hey, I'm going to help you get through this. We're going to get out of this. It's not going to be right away. It's not going to be overnight, but slowly, step by step, brick by brick, we're going to build a better house out of our personality, out of our output in life, our mental paradigm, the way we perceive reality. We're going to empower it, strengthen it, and just put the reps in, small ones. Laugh more, speak up more, interject things, interrupt more. In order to develop a better cadence, you have to interrupt. If you want to learn to dance, you're going to have to step on some toes. That's okay. People expect that from others. I was telling my girlfriend yesterday, we were talking about the internet and posting stuff. She has a tie-dye business. She wants to post more. And she was kind of intimidated about posting, over-posting. And I was like, you know what? I see so much stuff on the internet when I'm looking through it on my phone or on the computer. I don't dislike things. I don't dislike people for posting things I don't like. It's really, really hard to do something offensive on the internet these days. You'd have to like post a video of your nose hairs and showing people your nose hairs or something in order to make people not like you. All they can do is ignore it or like it. So you have nothing to lose. People are either going to ignore it, which means they don't even consciously accept the fact that they dislike it. They just skip it because they don't like it and they don't have enough time to judge it. Or they see it, they become hooked, and they like it. So that's just about posting, but the same thing goes for social situations. Think about all the conversations you've had today or yesterday. Do you remember what those people were saying? Hardly, right? You just remember the general context or the feeling, the mood that they had during that time. So just come with the right mood and realize nobody's going to give a shit what you say. Only 10% is going to get picked up. So do it 10 times more than you think you have to, and you'll be good. You'll get the experience you're looking for out of life. Get the experience that you're looking for out of life. Stop being comfortable with this schism, this chasm between where you are, who you are, and who you want to be. There's a way to bridge that gap, and that's just taking micro actions toward consistent transformation. Just build a habit that is aligned with who you want to be instead. I am a social guy. I'm a social guy. How hard is that? For years, I've been telling myself, I'm not social. For years, I've been telling myself, I'm happy alone. I prefer solitude. How hard is it to just say, I'm a social guy? And then start becoming one. If I don't like it, I can go back to being introverted in solitude in a couple of years. Life should be always propelling you toward who you want to be, who you could be. And if that changes, let it change. Don't get stuck. I wanted to be a monk. I've basically been a hermit for the last 6-7 years. And it was fun and it was rewarding and enriching. And then this last year, 2 years, I've been starting to come back out of my shell. Now I'm doing live streams every night. I'm doing way more sales calls than ever, meeting with more people about different business ideas, and going out of my way to make friends in new circles. This is what I consider consciously engineering transformation in my life. This is self-alchemy in an intentional way. I know that I have to change every 5 or 10 years. So I'm engineering the change ahead of time. I encourage you to do the same. Who knows how long we're going to live? But if you're not happy today, and if you're not on a path to be happy 90 years from now, both can coincide. So map it out and figure out, how can I be happy in the next 24 hours if I'm not now? And how can I be happy 90 years from now if I continued that path for 90 years? So a one-day life that you could live forever, knowing that along the way you're going to transform, and that's okay. So always be re-navigating your North Star, and that North Star is going to get you clarity on what to do today and who you should be today and how to appreciate today and how to enjoy today and get the most out of it. The most fun, the most joy, the most love, the most positive experiences, ecstasy, bliss, intimacy, the sweetest fruits of life. If you're not experiencing an abundance of that, you have work to do. We all do. So let's just experience the richness of life through the lens of ourself. Do that by constantly engaging with yourself, experimenting with life. Be the great scientist of your life. My name is Aunt P. I'm here for you. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this. More to come like this. You can do it. Get yourself out of this. Whether you were too introverted or too extroverted, you know what you need to do. So go forth, enjoy the day, be blessed.